greet you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. As all of you are aware, our church, like many others across the country, have been closed to public worship due to the impact of the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak, which has swept over the world. This virus has changed and challenged our lives and many of the things we have always taken for granted. The inability for us to gather together with friends, with family, has shown all of us the true value of relationships that we oftentimes take for granted and overlook. We want to take a moment to salute and to recognize all of the healthcare workers, the unsung people who have worked to keep stores open, food service, suppliers, other first responders, ambulance drivers, police officers, fire, who have been active on the front lines of this battle. And to all of the other essential workers who have been working throughout the quarantine and the lockdown to provide supplies needed by so many people. Without their hard work, without their selfless dedication, many other people could potentially be very sick and others could face death. So we honor them and we thank God for their courage, for their skill, and their sacrifice. We are preparing at this time to start the phased reopening of the Zion Gate Baptist Church. And I wanted to make sure that everybody heard directly from the pastor what we are planning to do. We closed our doors in March in the name of public safety. We closed because we were concerned about trying to keep our congregation safe during a very, very uncertain time. And it is in the spirit of safety as we prepare to restart that we need to take the time to ensure that we get this right. We're going to do this with safety utmost in our minds. Let me dispel the idea that things will be, quote, going back to normal, unquote. Our world has changed, and our world has changed dramatically. Things will never be normal as we once had it before. There are major changes that are going to be taking place. And as awkward as some of them will seem, we are doing them for the greater good of this church and the people that we serve. I am asking every member for your prayerful support and your patience as we do what we can do to reestablish our congregation in the face of a very, very different world. The Zion Gate Baptist Church will be cleaned and disinfected on every surface that you can possibly come into contact with. And we will continue to aggressively be cleaning and sanitizing the entirety of this building on a regular basis. Zion Gate will also become a no-touch environment. And this will be a major cultural shift in how we've interacted with one another as a congregation throughout the years that I have been here as a pastor and throughout the years of this church. Ushers will be positioned to open the doors both to the outer entrance of the church as well as the sanctuary. We are eliminating handing out church bulletins and will be changing the procedures that we use for the serving of communion and collecting of an offering. Sadly, this also means we're asking people to avoid handshakes and hugs when we greet people. The practice of joining hands together as a congregation during the altar prayer will also be suspended. We are asking people not to congregate in the church foyer for conversations or for fellowship like we used to. This also means that the pastor and the first lady will not be greeting everybody at the back door in an effort to avoid creating a crowd backing up by the door. This is not because we've become unfriendly or anything like that, but we're trying to keep the people that we love and care about safe. social distancing will be asked for by the church of all people who are coming into the church and on the church property. All parishioners are going to be asked to wear a face mask, and face masks will be provided by the church for anybody who does not have access to one. Early on during the reopening, every other pew throughout the sanctuary will be designated a non-seating area for the purpose of facilitating social distancing. Families can and are encouraged to sit together. However, the practice of strangers or other non-related people sitting in close proximity to one another should be refrained from. The non-seating pews will also make the sanctuary's total capacity much smaller than normal. So as we do come back together, early on, we will not be able to accommodate everybody. The balcony is closed right now for everybody other than the production staff and production crew. So please, unless otherwise directed, refrain from going into the balcony area. Please, do not come to church if you are sick or if you have been ill during the past week. If you have been, or if you're presently running a fever, please notify your doctor before you go anywhere. To our members who are over the age of 75, I strongly suggest that you do not come to service during the initial reopening phase of this project. We've got some bumps that we need to work out, and we're trying to protect our most vulnerable population. We are not reopening Sunday school during the first phase of the reopening process. We fully intend to get it back on track as soon as possible, but right now, we're not ready to do so. Many of our younger children do not comprehend the ideas of social distancing, not to the point where we can be comfortable having classrooms occupied just yet. We're working on addressing these issues, but in all honesty, we're not there yet. Please be prayerful for the Sunday school staff and leaders as we work through many of these problems. There will also be no food service of any type during the opening weeks of the church. Again, this is something we have done for years, from serving coffee and donuts on some Sunday mornings out at the Welcome Center to our fellowship dinners following a baptism or on church annual days. Right now, there are potential risks that we have not overcome yet. So the most effective way to deal with these things right now is not to have them. Death is a part of life, and it is part of the life experience. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has substantially changed that. We will not be able to host any funeral services at the church until further notice. Please understand that this church and all of the local funeral directors are navigating through uncharted waters. Serving this congregation and the public is what we have done for more than 60 years. And we want to be there to help families in need, especially at a time when they're hurting and they need the church and their church families the most. Hopefully this will only be a temporary situation. And after one step at a time, we can return to being a source of comfort for people when they need us the most. Throughout all of this, we began our online services, and the plan is for our online services to continue. And we will continue to try and make it even better than it is right now. We've developed viewers who live out of the area and some that reside out of the state. And many of them have taken the time to let us know that they appreciate the services and they want us to continue. And we want to continue to be a blessing. I want to take the time to thank the Zion Gate family and especially our media ministry, music department, praise team, production staff, and all who have worked diligently behind the scenes to make this possible. My brothers and sisters, I know that many of these things are not what some of you want to hear right now. It is going to take some time. Don't blame our situation on the mayor, the governor, or even the people that are running this country. Trials come from the Lord to build us up, to make us stronger, to make us more resilient. Our character is reflected in how we face troubles. These past months have made all of us realize how much we actually miss being around each other and how valuable fellowship is one with another. Do not allow the lessons that we've learned to go to waste. Treasure the people that you see when you see them, every opportunity that you see them, because we've all learned how little it takes not to be able to see them. As more information becomes available and as a definitive date has been determined, we will let everybody know. I solicit your continued prayers for the church and for your pastor, and we're looking forward to a time in the very, very near future when I can see all of you back within the physical house of worship. On behalf of the pastor and the First Lady, the official staff of this church, stay safe and may God continue to bless you and keep you. God bless you.